Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to practice a little bit with my little DC welder that I've got, and this is an arc welder. And again, I'm just a hobbyist welder. I'm not a professional welder, and I did have a little bit of training on arc welding when I was in high school. I took a semester of it, but I'm just playing and trying to get a little better. So this welder is a Miko DC 160 amp, and I got it off Amazon a few years ago. It was about $150, and it only does DC, and it's an inverter powered welder. So let's try it out. Along with that, what I'm going to be doing today is I've got these 1/8" steel coupons, and I'll be welding with them, and I'll be using this E6011 3/32 rod, and this is Vulcan. It came from Harbor Freight. So this works on DC, and on the current, you want to do DC positive, which means your electrode holder goes in the positive. And these just have these DIN connectors, so it'll run DC negative. Just flip them and switch them. But we want them on DC positive. So that goes there. And that goes there. So that's DC electrode positive. And these rods are set up to run on them, and they run anywhere from 40 amps up to 90 amps. And I found I've had good luck with these on 60. So that's where we're going to start out. So let's go ahead and turn our welder on. And we're running this on 110 volts also. It will run on 220, but I don't have a 220 outlet over here right now. So, okay, so, and this will go down to 20 amps. And on 110, it will go up to 162, so that's pretty good range. But again, we want to shoot for about 60, and then we'll adjust. Also, as these heat up, I'm just going to run flat beads on this and practice running a good straight line with a consistent weld, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, and we've opened the overhead door, and I'm going to wear this respirator while I'm doing this welding, just because this arc welding does put off a lot of fumes. And they say you should really wear a respirator and get some ventilation anytime you're using any kind of flux core welding. So whether it's a MIG welder or an arc welder. Okay, so the goal will be to have a nice straight arc weld. And we stuck it. Well, let's turn the heat up just a hair. The good thing is I haven't glued my coupon to the table yet. Go to 70. I am kind of happy with it was a straight line at least. Okay, and I've got to knock the flux off the end of my rod. Well, we got plenty of heat in it, that's for sure. That's a little bit on the horrible side. Let's try a different coupon. All right, so we're going to continue with this 6011, and I've got the piece clamped down. I was pushing it around with that other one, and I don't think it was grounded as good as it could have been. So I got my ground cable over here on the table. So let's fire it up and try it out. I've got going looks pretty good, but I can't keep the arc going. So, kind of weird. Let's clean that off and see what we got. That's kind of a weld. I can see the puddle really well, and I'm real happy with everything, except I just can't keep that arc going, and I'm not sure why. So let's try some more. Now the other thing is, these were sealed up. They shouldn't have moisture, but they can be affected by moisture. Restarting a weld, sometimes you have to knock the flux off the tip. Because if the center of the rod doesn't hit it, it won't do anything. I can clean my piece. All right, and that is why I'm practicing, because I think the problem I'm having with keeping the arc lit is, you know, it's burning away and melting, and I don't think I'm moving it down quick enough. I never saw a long arc, but I think that's what's happening. But that's why we practice. Okay, and I think, you know, this is a new rod for me, a 6011, and I've used a lot of 7018. I think I might get 7018 and try it out. All right, so I'm gonna try this 7018. I didn't have a lot of luck with that 6011, and we've got a bead across there, but it doesn't look that good. So even after cleaning the slag off of it, which one thing I was impressed with, there really wasn't that much slag on that. So when I've welded with this before, I've always done just an AC welder. So we'll try this out and see how it goes. Okay, we've got our 7018 loaded up and we've got it on 80 amps. We'll see how we go. Okay. That was actually a lot better. And this looks a lot more like what the welds that I've done in the past look like. So knock the slag off this. Well, it's a weld. So what I'm doing here is knocking the end here with the flux off just a little bit, so it exposes that metal core, that welding rod. That flux ends up kind of making a concave thing where that steel or filler rod is down inside of it, and it makes it harder to strike the arc. So we'll see if that helps. Yep. Okay, we'll see how that works. Okay, at least the slag puddle looks pretty good. When I got to the end, instead of just going off the piece, I got to the end and then I backed up about 1/4 of an inch, just trying to make sure it filled in good on the end. And that slag came off a lot better than the first one or two. When you knock this slag off, be real careful because that stuff is pretty dang hot. And you don't want to chip it off and get it in your eye or in your camera person's eye. Okay, so let's clean this off. Okay, so it's getting a lot of heat in it, but I don't see any inclusions or anything. It's still a pretty ugly weld, but that's why we're here. Try and practice, get a little better at it. Okay, so here's a good reason why you knock the flux off the rod. You see how that flux is probably at least 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch inside that flux. So then just grab your pliers, knock it off. Now you can see the metal and it'll strike an arc a lot easier. We've changed direction for filming. It was a little too bright outside, so hopefully you'll be able to see a little better, and hopefully my welding will get a little better as well. But again, like I said, as a hobbyist welder, doing this for fun, I'd like to be able to get big enough that, or good enough, that, you know, when I stick stuff together on my trailers and stuff, that it actually stays there. And I've glued a lot of stuff to those trailers, and I haven't had a problem yet, but we're gonna try and get better. All right, burned that one right down to the nub. Got our money out of that one. All right, let's see if we can clean it up. All right, so for all the trouble I had keeping that arc going, it didn't do too bad. So from here, and that's hotter than heck, but from there to that end, looks pretty good. Got a little thin there. And also I was trying to run right along the root of that other bead. And anyway, I don't have a straight line. So I think I'll run another bead a little bit away from that, get a straighter line, and then continue trying to learn this process. Okay, so check this out. I like the way the 70-18 worked a lot better than the 60-11, although it's just a matter of practice and getting used to it. But check these rods out. I've got a pack from Campbell Housefield. It says 25 pieces welding electrodes, and it says it can weld up to 1/8 inch. But it doesn't say anything on here what number these are. So I have no idea. We'll try them out. And it says up to 70 amps. These might be the best rods ever, but I wouldn't know what they would be. So let's try it out. We're gonna go to 65. Okay, let's see if we can strike it off with this one. I don't like that. I have no idea what these electrodes are, but they're thinner. They're like 1/8 inch. But it was easy to keep the arc going. Okay, and on that one,
it's such a thin rod, you have to keep even a shorter arc, and I noticed my arc was getting pretty long a couple times. But the line went pretty straight, and it's actually the same thickness all along. That was nice. Still got a little flux on it right there. This flux comes off a lot harder. There we go. And I think I'm probably a little hot because of all those little BBs that are on there. So let's turn this down to 60. Well, let's try 55. Because that's where the machine went to.
We got a lot less of that spatter with that, and that flux came off a little better. So turn it down to 55, probably a pretty good call. What does it say? It does up to 70 amps. It doesn't really have a minimum. But there's a lot of information that's not on those rods, so it's pretty odd. But I like it. It's an easy arc to hold. So I think I'll just keep doing those for some practice. We'll see what else we can get into. All right, so, you know, I'm not going to say I'm an expert or anything on that for sure, but I've gotten better with it, and using these little mystery rods has helped too. So I'm kind of wondering if it's more the diameter of them than actually anything about the, you know, the makeup or whatever. Which, like I said, I can't believe I've scoured this package. Maggie scoured this package. It don't say what these are, other than Welder series, Campbell Housefield. So they are welding electrodes. All right, so I've got a T set up, and I've never even tried to weld a T with an arc welder, stick welder. So I'm gonna still start just like I would with the MIG or with the flux bore wire feed welder, and I'm gonna put a tack on each end, and then we'll see if we can fill that in with this arc welder.
You're on.
Okay, so I'm gonna just, with this short rod, see if I can tack these corners. There's one. There's two. Too bad. Let's run a beam. Now on that, I'm going to go at a 45-degree angle right into the corner and keep it at about the same angle that I did on the thing. So probably, I don't know, about a 15-degree angle back, aiming right in that corner, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, on this welder rod, I've been using the straight line, but that's going to be a little, well, that would probably work here. When I tacked them, I put them on that cross. So I think I'll start off on the cross, because as that gets shorter, it's going to be hard to keep it in the right position if it's coming 90 degrees out from this tip electrode. Okay, that isn't too bad.
Several times on that, I saw the arc getting too long. They say the arc should be about the width of your rod. So talking an 1/8 inch on that one. And a couple times I saw it go out to a quarter, and I ooh, and pushed it back in. But let's knock some of that slag off, see what we got. Ooh, that's hot. Whoop! Ha! So it didn't have penetration, obviously. Okay, and what you can see from that, and okay, like failures are an opportunity to learn. Okay, which may be a little bit of a positive spin, but hey, that's how I am. But look at this, you can see on this bottom part, I was obviously favoring too far down onto the bottom piece, because that's a pretty good bead along there, but it like just barely caught this top at all. So we'll set that up again and try another one.
Okay, I think that tack is pretty good. Clean this off a little bit. Okay, and we'll run a bead down through there and see if we can make it stick. I was looking for my helmet. I've been sitting it over here like, where'd my helmet go? Gotta have fun. Okay, and that's where the angles got me wrong, and where I stopped there was because my position hand hit the table and stopped. So that's as close as you can. That's about enough of that rod. I like these thin rods. Easier to straighten out.
All right, we'll see if this thing holds. Ooh, I think that's a little ugly. But it ain't coming apart. Let's do the back side and we'll call it a day.
Okay, let's try and do the other side. And I turned down to 50 amps now. Pretty much mud. See if I can finish it out with this little. You don't want to burn your tip.
Okay, and that one, honestly, the first part where before I ran out of rod looks pretty good. Where I put that little bitty rod in there and tried to finish it out, doesn't look so good. But I wish these things had a number on them or something, because these 1/8 inch rods from Campbell Housefield, they're the easiest thing to strike an arc with and keep it going that I've seen. So I'm wondering, they're also the thinnest I've used. So anyway, for practice rods, they're pretty good. I have no idea what they are, their strength or anything else, but let's clean this slag off. I burnt my finger a little bit holding on to that even with my gloves, so hold it with the pliers. Okay, I'm not that happy with that one either way, but for practice, like I said, it's a start, but it looks to me like I've got some weld on the top. Looks like it favored the top. It's not undercut, but it didn't really get down into the bottom plate very good. Again, that's that 1/8 inch rod, and it's not going to leave a big weld. So, like I said, by no means an expert, but I wouldn't be hanging that one on the refrigerator. So that's going to do it for us today. Like I said, the big point of this is I'm a hobbyist welder and I'm trying to teach myself some stuff. Been watching a lot of tips and tricks, and I appreciate y'all's comments because I've learned quite a bit on the wire feed welders from you. So just wanted to practice my stick welding for a bit. So if you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and we definitely invite you to subscribe to see more. Have a great day and be safe.